Wisp Sports Radio, the voice of women in sport.
Hello, and welcome to the 5th episode of Behind the Blocks. I'm your host, two-time Olympic swimmer, Kailtin Sandeno. Be sure to follow us on social media at Kailtin Sandeno and at Wisp Sports. We have an awesome show for you today, but first, a word from our sponsor. Summer is here. You don't want to miss that majestic summer sunset, perfect wave, or family picnic because you're stuck at home with ear pain. You can make a splash at the next beach party with Highland's homeopathic earache drops and tablets for natural relief of minor fever, ear pain, and throbbing associated with earaches. Highlands has been trusted by generations to provide safe homeopathic medicines for everyone in your family. After you've been diagnosed by a physician, try Highland's homeopathic earache drops or tablets. Earache drops are available at Walgreens. To learn more, go to highlands.com/ear. That's HYLANDS. Highlands.com/ear. Claims are based on traditional homeopathic practice, not accepted medical evidence, not FDA evaluated. Always read and follow label directions. I am so happy to be joined on Behind the Blocks with today's guest, Natalie Hinds. As a Midland, Texas native, Natalie was collegeswimming.com's #1 recruit out of Texas in 2012. She then went on to become a multi-time All-American sprinter at the University of Florida. As a Florida freshman, Natalie finished 3rd in the 100-yard freestyle at the NCAAs. She was named the SEC Female Freshman of the Year after finishing top 8 in all of her events. Natalie continued a successful college career, having been a 20-time All-American, 3-time SEC champ, 3-time SEC Academic Honor Roll selection, and first-team All-SEC. Having qualified for the Olympic trials in 2012 and 2016, Natalie is now gearing up for the postponed 2020 Olympic trials and now trains with the post-grad group at the University of Georgia. I personally believe Natalie's best is yet to come. Natalie, thank you so much for joining me here today on Behind the Blocks.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
Okay, first for a little backstory. I have a very bittersweet story about my relationship with Natalie. So right about a year ago this time, I was heavily recruiting Natalie to be on my DC Trident ISL team. And we just had like the most amazing conversations and just connected so well. And I always just really enjoyed my time in conversations with Natalie. And I'm heartbroken to say that Natalie chose the other guys for Cali Condors. But Natalie, something about you is you're just so genuine. You're so personable. You're so communicative. And you just take time for people. I won't forget, at nationals this past summer, here you are getting ready for nationals, you're in swimmer mode and I'm sitting outside getting ready to host a show, waiting for a ride. And I just really appreciate you sat down next to me outside the hotel on a bench and you're just what's up? How's it going? I'm like, girl, I just love that about you. And so I have a very bittersweet background. I missed her on my ISL team, but I have a new friend and somebody, Natalie, I just think you have a really special story and I'm just really looking forward to getting to know you even better on this podcast today.
Yes. And it's funny that you bring that story up because I actually just told that story the other day to one of my friends. And I was like, yeah, I sat on the bench with Kailtin for literally 45 minutes just talking. It ended up it started off with hey, how are you? What are you doing out here? To 45 minutes later, my food was cold, but it was fine. But yeah, I later in my years, I'm only 26, but I've learned so much in these past, I want to say year, but really these past 2 years, especially about I love when people make me feel like I'm the most important person they're talking to. And I want to emulate that. And I want people to feel that, you know what I'm saying? So it's very comforting to hear that's how you felt, because I just, giving your all to one person, that being in the present moment is really important to me. And so, yeah, that's good to hear.
You're definitely taking those steps, because I really felt she really just took time to sit with me, and I really appreciated that. And now I'm looking forward to just taking some time sitting with you, because I think the world needs to know more about you. And I want to know more about you and take us back to where it all started. Like, what was Natalie Hinds like as a kid and what got her into swimming? And does she do a ton of sports or one sport? What were you like, Natalie? Break it down.
I would say I'm somewhat like I am now, very like poised and bold, very confident. But my parents would describe me as like a Tasmanian devil. Like I wanted to do everything all the time. And so I was born in Midland, Texas, which is a really, really small town in West Texas. It's full of oil and football, and that's basically it. I, like Midland always has a special place in my heart. I mean, everything was 2 minutes away. It's kind of like living in a bubble. Like I basically grew up in a bubble because, like I said, everything was 2 minutes away. Everyone knew everyone. And my mom was a professor there, and my dad is in the petroleum industry. So I wouldn't say we were like a well-known family, but we definitely like always saw someone we knew wherever we went out in public. And so it was just a really nice, nurturing environment, and I loved it. And I got started in swimming because of my sister. So I have a sister who's about 4.5, 5 years older than I am. And she and I couldn't be any more opposite. I mean, we both swam, but other than that, like we're totally opposite. We don't even look like sisters. Obviously, I love her to death, but she is artistic. She is really, really logically smart. Like school's very easy for her. Whereas I'm more athletic. I just do it like so that I could swim. Like it's nothing that I really wanted to spend time on, but she was swimming. I wanted to do everything that she was doing. So I got into lessons really early. Like I have a ribbon from when I was 4. So I was in lessons like way earlier than that. And also my mom used to take us swimming in the summer. So I've always been around water. I love it. My favorite thing to do is just to be underwater. I think that's just such a great, amazing feeling where you just can get away from everyone. But yeah, I swam in Midland, all the way. I was born and raised there. So all the way up till I was 18. And then decided to go to Florida. And I mean, I kind of just skipped over my whole childhood, but.
Well, at what age did you realize this is my sport? I have talent in it. I'm going to go for swimming.
Probably like age 15 or so. So when I was 14, I broke my hip because, so 14, so back up a couple years. So when I was 12, I started off 6th grade at 5'9". So I was already pretty tall.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And then, or no, I'm sorry, 5'6". And then by the end of 6th grade, so within like 9 months, I had grown to 6 foot. So everything had changed for me. I was always hungry. My joints always hurt. I was not always tired, but I mean, I just like was doing so much. And so, you're still growing in that phase. And so when I got injured, I was doing track, I was doing basketball, and I was also swimming. So all at the same time. And so I was at a track meet and it was just like over usage. Like basically my muscles were too strong for my bones type of thing. I just hadn't grown into my body yet. And so when that happened, I kind of had to like not do anything for almost 3 months or so. It was unbelievable. I was just like so pent up with so much energy. And my dad and mom sat me down and were like, you kind of have to choose.
Yeah.
You can't do 3. Yeah. You can't do 3 sports. You only have 100% to give. So I chose swimming because that's always been my primary sport, but I love relying on myself. I don't really like team sports. And to be superficial, I do not like to sweat. I don't like being hot, anything like that. So swimming is just like for me. And that's kind of like when it kind of took off for me. I was good when I was 14 and under, but I think when I turned 15 is when I also was subjected to a greater competition. I went to my first junior nationals. Like one of my, once I was back in shape, that was one of my first meets back. And I had never been to anything other than like age group state. So this was, the best swimmers in the country under 18. And it was a big wake up call for me. And so that's kind of like where I decided to literally eat, breathe, and live swimming, but I loved every second of it.
So you briefly touched on your height, and I'm so curious about this because we had Amy Bilquist on 2 episodes ago,
Oh, okay.
and you guys, both being very tall, very lean, very slender,
Mhm.
and you were 6 foot at, you said 14
No, at
already.
12.
Oh,
At
at
12.
12, my goodness. And how
Yeah.
tall are you now?
I hadn't grown much. I'm 6'2". Yeah.
6'2".
Hmm.
How was that growing up being that tall? Like, Amy said she struggled with it a little bit, body image, confidence. Was that the same case for you, or did you own it from the beginning, or what was that like body image wise, being that tall
uh,
at such a young age?
honestly, sometimes it really, I mean, most of the time it didn't matter to me because that was me. Like I've always been tall. But I think once I integrated into middle school was when I kind of realized like, okay, well, I'm kind of like alone because I
Oh,
mean,
taller
I
than the
walked,
boys.
yeah, like all the little girls had boyfriends. I didn't have a boyfriend. And like, when you're in that school setting, like you want to fit in and you like want everyone to like you. And everyone did like me, but I think I'm not even sure when that switched for me when I realized that my height was like part of me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't necessarily have body issues. I was very blessed with that. I think it's because for me personally, I think it's because I just grew up in a home that like, this is you. And uh, we talked a lot about strengths at home. We didn't really ever talk about anything that was negative. And so I never really I was as skinny as a rail, but I never looked at other girls and was like, oh, I wish I looked like that necessarily. But I do remember being in middle school sometimes, especially like when I would meet new people, like being very cognizant of my height, just because like, I mean, I'm literally 6 foot and have cornrows and I'm wearing a collared green shirt with khakis. Like, I'm like, oh, I could probably look a little bit better, but that's just like kind of what the school uniform was. But yeah, I mean, I was very blessed. I haven't really ever had any body issues other than when I stopped swimming the first time. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely because I have been groomed to think about strengths only. So yeah.
I like that. I mean, that would be your
Hmm.
advice then, right? To younger generation that might be struggling with that body image is like strength is beautiful, right? And a lot of times you get strength from your height. And I don't want to put
Hmm.
like words in your mouth, but I feel like that would be a really great takeaway for some of our younger listeners, or or even people my age, just knowing, like, own it, right? Have that confidence where strength is beautiful, no matter what your body type is. I think it's, being this a women's podcast, women's sports podcast, I just think it's really powerful that we embrace that and we celebrate that. And I think the stereotype is changing to accept that, but I feel like it's obviously something that's very dominant in our sport, right? You're walking around in a bathing suit all day, and see, like, how do you
Exactly.
own your image? And I love that, it started from your home. Your parents instilled that confidence in you. I would just believe in that so much, how important what our parents teach us and what they surround us around. And I just love hearing that your parents were just, the focus was on strength.
Yeah,
And
they're the best.
yeah, they sound like it. I feel like we need to get them on this show.
Yeah.
So you had this sprinter, I mean, ideal body type. What type of training did you do in the days of your club swimming? Because obviously when you get older, sometimes it goes down in yardage, but were you the type of swimmer in high school that was getting pounded with yardage, or did you already have that sprinter kind of foundation? What was it like for you in your club days?
Oh my God, Caitlin, I was not doing any yardage. I think back to my club days and I think that's what I need to do now because that is what got me to where I am, or like gave me gave me the foundations, and it gave me my stroke that I have today. So when I was 13, in the midst of all these transformations, I got a new coach. So I'd had the same coach for 5 years, I think, like growing up. So I had the same age group coach. He left and another guy came in by the name of Andy Corda. He coaches in Houston now. But on top of all these changes, I have a new coach, and he wanted to change my stroke. All of them, every single one of them. And back then I was still swimming all 4 strokes. So, and I was swimming IM and stuff. And I look back now and I think about like what makes me the person I am today. And I like to focus on, one of my weaknesses is that I don't focus on details. And he made me focus on details. So at first I did not like him at all because it would be to the point where I had to get out every length If my stroke wasn't how he asked, I had to get out. We did it again on land, and then I'd get in the pool and do it. And that was the case for like 3 weeks. And I was like, I don't want to go to practice because I know myself, and I'm an instant gratification person. I like to see results very quickly. I don't like to wait around. And so when it comes to changing your stroke, I mean, that's not an overnight fix. Like that's a season type of thing. And so we would do repetition after repetition. But once I got my stroke down fundamentally, like the type of training we did was equal to a sprint mid distance. I never really did too much distance. We focused a lot on details, only swam once a day. Only until when I got 17 and 18 did I add doubles. And I did foundational weight training, but I didn't do clean snatches, anything that I would have done in college, just like, the machines at the gym. I would do those. But yeah, I mean, that's what I need to go back to. But yeah, it's club. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be some crazy. I mean, I hear about all these clubs that some of my friends in college came from, and I'm like, why would you do that? That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, that's where I got most of my strengths that I carried with me into college, is just paying attention to detail, having that recovery time to do it again the next day, and things like that. So we weren't too heavy on yardage growing up.
So for the 2012, when you make your first Olympic trials, you're 18 years old. Are you just finishing high school going to college, or was that after your first year of college?
No, I was finishing high school going into college, and
wow.
I had actually graduated early. So in Midland, everything is a big deal. So like me making, so I made trials when I was 16. So I had waited so long.
That's amazing.
And I was really excited. Well, when I got it, I didn't even know. I just remember I was in a heat. You'll find this funny. I was in a heat it was the Austin Grand Prix. Like, I don't even remember what year. I think it was like 2010, I guess. I was in lane. I got scratched into the 100 fly A final. And I was next to Margaret Holzer, who's not even a butterflyer, Natalie Coughlin, and I think like Dana Vollmer was in it too.
Stop.
I'm peeing my pants. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm in a heat with these people. My dad's like, Natalie, calm down. They're literally just people.
I love it.
So I end up getting 7th, and I get my trials cut, but I was just so hyped that I didn't get last. And then I found out like in the parking garage that I had got it. And then, so the goal was just to bring my time down into going into trials. But I had graduated early to train more, because I also was close in other events. But yeah, I had graduated early to train more, just to take the stress off, because trials, as trials is just another animal. But I came along at a good time, because it's always at the end of my school cycle, so I didn't really have much to worry about. But yeah, I was a young 18-year-old, and that was, I'll probably never forget, obviously, my first trials.
Well, I have to hear more about it. I mean, again, just to qualify at 16 years old is super impressive, especially I think in sprints, the sprint events, because all the cuts are challenging, but I just feel like to be 16 and to qualify the Olympic trials in a sprint event, it just screams talent. So then you have to wait 2 years before you finally get to go to this meet that everybody talks about. So you finally get to this meet. How does it go? What is this experience like for you?
So I got there, and I was just, honestly, the only word I can describe is grateful. I was literally a sponge, because my team, club-wise, was not good at the time, and it was just me traveling. So it would always be my dad, me, and my coach. But obviously it was my mom. And like I said, that community is so amazing. They had people, like families, who came to see me swim that one swim. Like, I'm probably not going to make the team, but they flew all the way to Omaha, got tickets. And, also it's like they can watch everyone else or whatever. But that just chills. That just speaks to like how amazing like that community was at the time. And everything was so new to me. Like, the water tasted good at the pool. Like, I voluntarily took a tour. I was just like soaking it all in. And I remember seeing like my future teammates, and I met so many of them, and it was so cool. As far as like the non-swimming stuff goes, but as far as the swimming stuff goes, I think I did well. I won a best time, and I got 3rd in my heat. Which, most people don't go best time, but
go best time, and that's a success.
Yeah. And so I do remember like, before as they walk each heat out, the one that's going after it is standing on these steps. And I do remember that I was going to faint, like, because I mean, it's like, you can only know unless you're there. And there's so many lights and it's so official. And it's just such an amazing experience. Obviously, sitting on my couch here in Athens, like, I can think about how amazing it is, but obviously in the moment you're like, okay, don't freak out, don't freak out. Like, all these last 2 years, like, just don't fall start.
Yes.
But it was an amazing experience. I met so many people, and like, just seeing people reach their goals and dreams, I was like, okay, well, I'm ready to go to college. Like, send me, pack my bags, I'm ready to go. It was great. I loved it.
That's the perfect segue, because I was going to ask, after the trials, you're coming out of Texas as the top recruit from your state. What drew you to the University of Florida?
Okay, well, this is superficial also, but this is actually really important. Like, so at Florida, if you would like to do an aerial view, it's really long, and only till you get to one part of the school does it like kind of spread out. But everything that I needed was on the same street, and I loved that. Obviously, like, the coaches, like the coaches were great.
Just really love the location of everything.
Everything was so close. It was like my dorm, and then it was the pool, and then it was the dining hall, and then it was the weight room, and then it was OSL, which is like our study hall.
So you didn't have to sweat walking to these places because they're so close.
No, you didn't.
You did. In Florida.
Because it's like 100% humidity. But I just felt like so at home. And, like, that's how everyone should feel when they go to the school of their dreams. Like, I just felt like there was so much diversity on the team. There's so many people from different countries. And I just loved that. And my dad traveled a lot. So he always like instilled in us that, like, foreign people bring a very different view to people's lives in America. And I, at the time, my best friend was from England. So I just loved the diversity. But that was one reason. Also, like I said, the location, the coaches. I'm so close with Leah Stansel, who recruited me before I went to Florida. Like, we're still very close to this day. And honestly, just like walking around the school, I'm like, this is just a beautiful school. Like, I just love this school.
Mm-hmm. And what are you most proud of looking back in your college career? Let's do in the pool and also out of the pool, because I think that's equally as important.
In the pool, I guess the things I'm most proud of, well, obviously in 2015, when I was a part of the 1, 2, 3 finish with Leah and Simone, I'm very proud of that, especially like with everything going on now. I look back and I realize how important that was, and how that signifies how far we've come as Black people in the sport of swimming. And I also am very proud of how I was handling all the pressures that I had my junior and my senior year, because there just was so much going on. And then outside of the pool,
well, first before you go to that, because don't skip over that, because I don't know if a lot of our, most of our listeners might not be as aware of what you said so quickly, because it's historic to go yourself, Leah Neal, Simone Manuel became the first African-American swimmers to go first, second, and third in a single event. So just in case our viewers weren't familiar with those names. And like you said, the representation in our sport is predominantly white. So to have that first, second, and third to happen in 2015, right?
Yeah.
That's iconic for you, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's just when you think back into that, and again, that event just being so fast, you women are such powerhouses. That's amazing. So obviously looking back, that's a moment that you're really proud of in the pool. For me personally, Natalie, like what you did out of the pool with your academic honors, like, I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but I just think because it's funny, because earlier, like, oh, my sister's the smart one, and I just did okay. I'm like, hello, SEC academic honor roll. Like, that's not a small feat. I think that's so impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. I just like not that I don't care about school, because I know we have young listeners. I did care about school, but like when I grew up, I had to keep a B+ average to keep swimming. And I know of one time that I got a C or something on a progress report, and my dad was serious and I couldn't go to nationals that year. And so I had to work to get the grade up. Yeah, like they were really serious. So I always take school seriously from that point of view, just because, like, if you're going to be good in the pool, like, why wouldn't you be good in the classroom? Like, that doesn't make any sense for one part of your life to be just in shambles and the other part to be really good. Because, everything in life is similar in some shape or fashion. So I just tried to keep that mentality going forward, even though, like, you're like, oh, finally, like, my parents aren't going to see my grades. Like, obviously, yes, they still see your grades. Like, so I just was groomed to, like, try my best. And obviously, like, we had tutors, and I literally had anything and everything I needed, which is another reason why I loved Florida. And so just taking advantage of those resources was really key for me. But yeah, I mean, I'm proud of that as well. But outside the pool, to be honest with you, and I don't mean to be negative, I think looking back where I'm at, like now, looking back then, I could have done so many things different, but I guess I'm just proud of the resilience that I showed. Like, towards the end of my career, in terms of my college career, things were not going my way. Like, I was not tracking the way I wanted to track to make the team in 2016. And it ended up just being such a heartbreak. And I ended up stepping away from the sport for 2 years. And so I'm just kind of, I mean, I'm sad that I went through that, because I don't think anybody should go through that, like, with a sport that they love. But I think I'm most proud of me getting up every day, despite the fact that I 125,000% did not want to, because I had a job to finish. And, maybe I didn't finish it the way that I had anticipated, but I got up every day. And I think that's really important, to not quit. And I don't like quitters. I mean, like, obviously, if there's a good reason for you to quit, yes, but I don't believe in, like, quitting. I believe in, like, you're going to be in pain temporarily, but, like, you can get it done. So I would say I'm really proud of just, like, how I kept it together until the end. But I definitely wish I could go back and, like, give my younger self a hug and be like, it'll all work out.
Mm-hmm. Do you mind sharing what that challenge was, or why do you think you felt like it, was hard for you to
Oh,
keep together in
yeah.
2016? Because I think it's important for
Mm-hmm.
people to hear that, because it's not all easy. I mean, you have amazing accolades, but it's like you went through some hard times too. What were those times?
Yeah, so it started junior year. Like, well, let me rephrase. Freshman year, like, going into college, I have always had this thing in my head that, like, junior year was going to be my year. And because I had seen so many people, like, when you're a junior, you, like, kind of have a hold on things. Like, you've passed the sophomore slump, you're now an upperclassman, like, you can, like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, like, it's my time. And freshman year for me was amazing. Like, I could not have asked for a better freshman year. Sophomore year was kind of a slump. And so junior year comes, I'm like, okay, it's my time. And it actually was a great year. Like, I won SECs in the 100 freestyle. And then that was the year that I got third with Leah and Simone. So I kind of was on cloud nine from that perspective. But I think I was running on, like, fumes at that point, in terms of, in my head, swimming was number one, not nutrition, not weightlifting, not mental, taking care of your mental. So I'm thinking that I'm going to practice, I'm doing the intervals, I'm doing what's asked of me. Why am I not going faster? And just not really understanding the whole in-season thing, like going to meets, not wearing a fast suit, having to compete with people with a fast suit. You can either take that two ways. Like, you can be like, you know what? No, I'm going to be tough as nails and I'm going to get this done. Or you can take the route that I took and a woe was me attitude. And I think that's what started it all for me, was just kind of, I was tired. Honestly, when I say I was tired, I don't mean like I needed to go to sleep. Like, my soul was tired. Like, I felt so much pressure to, I mean, it was like pressure I was, like, making up. I felt pressure from my parents, from my coaches, from myself to, like, start on this track and, like, like a snowball effect. And at the end I would make the team. And so junior year, my summer – going into my senior year, I had gone to nationals, which was in San Antonio. like second worst meet of my career. I was going times that I couldn't even believe that I was going. And I was so sad. And all I wanted to do was go home, because home for me is like my safe place. Like, it's where I get my energy from. It's what brings me back to like, okay, this is me. And so I just wanted to go home, but I had to go to OTC, and I hate going to OTC. So I got 8 hours at home. I drove from San Antonio to Midland, slept, spent the night, drove to the airport the next morning. And I was just like so burnt out at that point. And I had to go train for 2 weeks. And then literally from those 2 weeks, I went straight back to school for my senior year, where I was a captain and I was trying to lead a group of girls. And like, I mean, that's obviously I loved them, but our team was going downhill at that point. And it was just so much pressure. It was like, I almost felt like if I didn't do good, like it was my fault, like us losing and stuff. And nobody should ever feel like that. So for me, I was going fast. Like, I mean, I went fast my senior year. It just wasn't my expectations. And so by the time that NCAAs came, I was running on fumes, like spiritually, mentally, physically. I wasn't eating. Like, I look back at pictures, I was so skinny, and I'm skinny now, but I was like really, really skinny. And that's why I was so tired. I didn't even think about the other stuff. I was just so gung-ho on this dream that I had that it kind of was like tunnel vision in a bad way. But yeah, I mean, I look back at that time and I think about it, because all of that ultimately led to me being like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't find joy in this sport. I was literally counting down the days at trials that I was done. I was like, okay, I just have 3 days and I'm out of here. Like, I'm going to go back home for 3 months. And to be honest, it was the best 3 months of my life. Like, I just needed to be home. But I would say, like, if anyone's listening, the whole point of this is like, it is very important to take a break when needed. And I feel as if I should have taken that break after my junior year. And, you know, everyone gets so uptight when trials comes, like, no, I can't take any breaks. No, we can't do this. We can't do that. But like, breaks are needed. And now that I'm older and I have taken a 2-year break, I can 100% say that when you feel like you need a break, you need to take one, and you need to listen to that inner intuition, because it's never wrong. But yeah, when I say that I was feeling all that pressure, and so that's like all the reasons why, basically. But it's all learning experiences too.
Yeah, well, and like you said, then you're going to be appreciating what you have more, right? When you take that step away and then you come back to it. But you took a 2-year break off of 2016. What was it that got you thinking, I need to go back?
A lot. I mean, everything up till now, I'm glad it all happened. Let me just say that. I needed the break. I mean, I could have probably come back after a year, but I convinced myself, like, this is the next step in my life. Like, I get a job, I find somebody, I settle down, whatever. And I hate a 9-to-5. Like, I absolutely hated I loved my job. Don't get me wrong. I had a year-long digital internship with Turner Broadcasting, which is like so amazing. But I did not like the act of corporate America. I didn't think that I was suitable. I'm not the person to show up at 9 and leave at 5. But like, you learn what you like and what you don't like. And so I worked there for a year and a half before I decided, well, I still work there now. I just obviously don't do the same things, but it was like July of 2018 for nationals. And that was the nationals that determined the world team and the Pan Pac team. And I had not even seen swimming since trials. And so I had left the sport with so much bitterness and so much anger and just like very unsettled, and didn't speak to my parents about it. It was just kind of something I avoided because I knew that I could have done better. And it just took me a very long time to look in the mirror and be like, this was all your fault. Like, you can change it though. You can turn it around, like, but you need to know that like you did this and you can fix it. But I think once I realized that, and I could actually have a conversation with my parents without crying about swimming, I was like, okay, I think I'm like ready to go back. I think I'm ready to try it again. But I saw trials and I was like, man, they look like they're having so much fun. Just like genuine fun, like where you get to like be with your friends. And so that's kind of like when I decided, I was like, all right, well, I'm about to try it again. And I thought about it deeply for like 2 days, whether that's a long time or not. I think it is. But I then had to figure out where I was going to swim or how I was going to attack, like going back, because I wasn't going to go back to Florida because that wasn't like a good option for me. And so obviously I have competed against Georgia all my years at school. And Jack has always been like so nice. Just like, he is like the nicest person ever. And he's always told me if I need something, let him know. And so I quite literally took him up on that offer and spoke to Brian Smith, who I work with in Sprint Group. And within, I guess, like a month, everything was ready to go. I found a place on a whim, and he'd called me, told me I could move on a Wednesday, and I was out on a Saturday. So I just like moved. It was kind of just very impromptu, but I knew that I really wanted to do it.
And when you want to do something, then you're going to be happy doing it. It's on your terms. And then you're already going to be, in a better place. And then you're like, you go back to the sport and then you're throwing down best times, not that far after your transition, correct?
Yeah, like 10 weeks.
How crazy is that? That's why I just feel like, Natalie, you have so much more ahead of you that you go through this, this long break off. You're mentally, physically, just need a break. You go back to sport. You love it. You're training and boom, best times. It's just like, hello, like you have so much ahead of you. And I even hate to go there with you right now because this is also positive, but now, of course, COVID comes. We're postponed for Olympic trials. The Olympic Games are, up in the air, postponed. There's so many rumors. And we're in the middle of this like huge racial conflict. It's just like, how are you personally doing right now? And where is your head, heart, and mind?
I would say that, well, backing up to COVID when they postponed everything, I have learned to lean into my feelings because I'm one of those who likes to suppress and go on because I'm like, okay, I can internalize it and I can get whatever I need to done. But I've learned in my later years, my last 2 years, it's really important to just like cry if you need to cry and write if you need to write and just like do nothing if you need to do nothing. So for those 2 days that I was just very confused, I just kind of sat and just chilled in my apartment. But then I was good. I went home and for 2 months, like it was amazing. I don't fight with my parents. Like it's not like college days where I'm like, I have got to go. But like I loved being home. I didn't even want to come back. But like with everything going on with the racial war and, this Black Lives Matter movement, I think it's, initially like brought up some crazy feelings that I didn't even know that I had. And this is like fresh from 2 weeks ago. So, everything's going on. I just get back and it's like fresh in the middle of a race war and there's just so much going on. And like I said, I was feeling things I've never felt before. I was angry and I was exhausted and I was sad all at the same time. And it's just a very weird place to be in because it's not, there's things you can do for it, but it's kind of just a time for you to reflect and kind of get to the bottom of those feelings. Like thinking back to when you're in middle school and someone, or you're thinking about all the microaggressions that happen, because I am a Black person in a white sport and thinking about all the things that have happened and just kind of trying to understand it all. And then last week, I think I was fine, or at least I thought I was fine. And then honestly, this week, I have days, like I'll literally be making dinner and I like have a lump in my throat. And I'm like, well, I guess it's fine. It's just, it's just going to take time. And I think, like I said, I'm an instant gratification type of person. I don't like to wait. And so when I think I'm fine, I'm like, okay, let's roll with it. But this is something where I feel like it's going to take time and there may be triggers along the way. And so in terms of currently present day right now, I literally take it day by day. Like if I don't want to do something, I don't do it. And I think that's really important, especially like with swimming right now. It's like, what are we training for? And, it's always good to stay in shape. And, we probably can approximate the time that our season's going to start later this fall. But, it's about having, fuel in the tank. And obviously this is something that nobody's had anticipated, both of these things. And I think it's just important to protect that mental fuel, because I'll be honest, like, I was starting to wane in this February, like going into trials, because it was just so much stress. Like, it's just so much stress. Like, you have to have a perfect swim every time leading up to trials. And if not, then like the world's over type of stuff. And I think it honestly, in that 2 months that I was home, I think now I realize it more. I've really gone through a transformation in terms of just being patient and just like letting things roll off my back. And if I'm upset, then I'm upset. But definitely, like, today I'm doing fine. I just kind of keep my mind occupied, and I hang out with friends. I think that's really important. And I call my mom and dad every day, because they just like, just hearing them keeps me grounded, and I'm like, okay, I can do this. But yeah, it's definitely been kind of hard. Something I've never experienced before. I'm usually just, moving on with my emotions in tow, but I definitely have had to slow down and think about, like, okay, why do you feel this way?
Right. Now, does your crafting help you ease, like, just help you get into a good spot? For those of you that don't know, Natalie is a fantastic, it's called looming, right? Like where you're sitting
No,
there.
no, it's called weaving, but it's on a loom.
On a loom. See,
Yeah.
you guys, that's my crafting background. But you've gotten, I mean, it's amazing. The pieces you do are beautiful. Is that therapeutical for you?
Oh my God, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's like something that I can do for me, and I can just drop off the map and do it. But yeah, I started that last year, before nationals, actually, because I was having so much anxiety with this being my first big meet back, and I'd never made a final, which is crazy to me. I'd never made an A final or any final, to be honest. And I just felt like there was so much pressure again. And one way that helped ease it was to weave. And so I was looking at Pinterest, wasting time like we all do on Pinterest. And I saw these wall tapestries because I was looking for one in my room. And I was like, honestly, I could probably make that. So I went to Hobby Lobby and I bought the things. My first one was terrible. It was a lot harder than I thought, but I just got engrossed in it. And then like the season passed, and then I started up again like last fall. Kind of got away from it because obviously I'm swimming and that's my job. But over quarantine, I have, with all this uncertainty, obviously causes anxiety. I have, gone right back in it, and it's actually taken off. So I kind of have to stick with it now. But
because you have an Etsy store now, right?
Yeah, I have an Etsy store, and I like have a logo now, and I literally just came up with a shop update today. And so it's just like, it's really cool to see it grow. And like, I absolutely love helping people. Like, I think that's like my quote unquote calling in life. But to do that in different ways, however you can do that is fine with me. I think being able to bring something that I made with my own two hands, with like all the love that I put into each of my pieces, to give to someone to put in their home, like, makes me feel good. Like, I don't sell anything that I don't love. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've made things and I'm like, yeah, no, we're not. We're going to just put that in the pile, use that for scraps, because I just don't feel it. But yeah, it's definitely a full blown operation now.
Well, how do we find you on Etsy? What is it called? What's your store called?
So it's called Luminary. It's LOOMINARY. And yeah, so I don't even know how I came up with the name. Like, Luminary, let me look up the definition. I think it means, I did have the definition, which is why I chose it, but it means something really good, actually. It means, a person who inspires or influences others in a prominent or particular sphere. But that's spelled with a U. But obviously the way you spell loom, like in tapestry terms, is LOO. So I just like changed the spelling that way, because I thought it was really cool. So it's called Luminary Designs. And it's exactly that on Etsy. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I have a few pieces for sale, and I also do custom too. But yeah, it's gotten kind of busy.
Yeah, no kidding. It sounds like it. And where does your creativity genes come from? Is this a family trait?
It is, but it's probably manifests different with everyone. My mom can kind of draw. She does quilts though. So she loves to make quilts. She's trying to get into like making baby quilts, which is really cool to see. And she has a studio at home. And so while I was there, we shared the studio, and she really loved having me home, like both of us working on our own little project. But she's big into t-shirt quilts now, and that's kind of like what she's doing. She's retired, so she can do whatever she wants. But my sister can draw really well. And my aunt is an artist. My uncle is an artist. So yeah. And my grandma, she wrote a book. So she's artistic in that realm. But yeah, it's my mom's side, I guess.
Well, I mean, Natalie, you are just a quadruple threat: intelligent, athletic, artistic, creative. I think you have just an amazing outlook on life and a confidence that I wish every woman could have more of. And you're inspiring.
Thank
You
you.
really are. And I hope you know what a role model you are in and out of the pool. And I love getting to know you more, and even just our time today on the show, learning, where it all came and where it started from. And it's just been a true joy getting to know you over this past year. And I don't just say this, I really think your best is yet to come in the water. And your story is inspiring. I think, so many athletes, young, middle, old, they've gone through that, right? Where they wanted to give up, and maybe they did for a little bit, but they came back to the sport. And it's rejuvenating to hear, and for me, I really love hearing the positivity of your parents in your life. Because I that is for me, when people are like, oh, why do you think you're such a great swimmer? I'm like, because my parents showed me unconditional love. And the more I hear that from other swimmers and athletes of success, the more I believe it. Like hearing how your parents encouraged you and instilled strength, and, coming to your meets and supporting you. I think that is what parents need to hear more of today, because I think we're in a society where you're starting to see more crazy sport parents than loving sport parents. And it's like, do your role, be the parent, and let the coaches coach and the parent. And it just is so refreshing to hear. And I love the love that I can sense between your family. But before I let you go, okay, so our show is called Behind the Blocks. And we have this tradition now on Behind the Blocks with Kailtin Sandeno. What are you like behind the blocks?
I mean, I've been told I'm very intimidating. Like I don't smile. I don't talk. I don't like to talk. I like to be in my own head. Some people like to talk, like Melanie Margalis. She's one of my teammates. She's the opposite of me. And she will be literally talking as she's stepping on the block. And my first meet back in Knoxville, I was obviously so nervous. I was like, oh my God, what if I embarrass myself? So I'm like to myself, and she's trying to talk to me. She's like, wow, I had no idea that you're like this behind the block. And I'm like, please stop talking to me. But I'm definitely quiet to myself. I don't like to talk. To me, everyone's an enemy, but like when we're done, we're friends. But that's just like how I think. I don't like music behind the blocks. I think it just distracts me from like the present moment. But yeah, I'm just like not very nice behind blocks. But like that's just like how I have to be my best. I can't be your best friend behind the blocks. Maybe if I'm super nervous, I'll engage in some surface level conversation, that goes on in the ready room. But no, I'm not trying to talk to you guys. That's not my thing.
So Natalie is locked in, ready to go. Don't talk to her, but she will love to talk to you after the race.
Exactly. And that's how I feel like with practice, if we're doing a hard set, it's like my best friend is Olivia, and we swim together, Olivia Smolinga. When we have a hard set, we don't speak. Like we'll hype each other up, but we're not like, we're 100% different than we are when it's over. Like when it's over, we're attached at the hip. We're sisters. Like we literally have the same thoughts, but like when it's in there, it don't matter who you are. I'm like, yeah, we're not friends.
It's on.
Yeah.
All right. For anybody that has to race Natalie anytime soon, good luck.
Yeah. We're not friends.
We're not friends until afterwards. But seriously, I can't thank you enough for your time and your insight and your energy being on Behind the Blocks today. I've been really looking forward to this podcast, and I am rooting for you. And I know the future is so uncertain, and we don't know what to predict. But I just have so much confidence in you in the pool and out of the pool. And I just want to thank you for, being you and being so transparent and so down to earth and so genuine, and just for being one of my new friends. It's been a true pleasure, Natalie.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And I hope somebody got something from this conversation. And if I think if they could take one thing away, it would be to literally just trust yourself and like trust your gut. Like honestly, your gut knows, honestly. And I feel like looking back, if I were to listen to my gut, I wouldn't have taken a 2-year break and things may have been different, but I am very grateful to be like where I am today and to share my story to help other people. So I do appreciate you having me on the show.
No, that was just so poignant and so perfect. And with that, that's our show for this week. And I just want to thank everybody for listening. And again, thank you to my fabulous guest, Natalie Hinds, and to our sponsor, Highlands Ear Ache Drops. Visit them at highlands.com/ear. Don't forget to follow and share on social media at Kailtin Sandeno and at Wisp Sports. I will be back in 2 weeks with Stafford standout, 12-time NCAA champ, and 4-time American record holder and national team member, Ella Easton. So until then, thanks for listening and helping us turn up the volume on women's sports.